TSM just went through a very, very crazy and controversial offseason that has left a lot of people with, very mixed feelings and emotions and opinions about this TSM team. Not only going into the lock-in tournament, not only going into Spring Split or the 2022 season, but going into the future as a whole. How good is this team going to be this season, the next couple of years, or really ever again? This team, was once the pinnacle of Western League of Legends, if not at least North American League of Legends, winning a ton of titles, making insane content, just putting up insane numbers on all kinds of social medias, growing their fan base, valuation, everything to numbers that really no other Western esports organizations could compete with to an extent. But obviously, over the last couple of years, that gap has slowly begun to close. And that's where, people are left at this crossroads with TSM. Some people say they're starting to go down the road of CLG. Some people say this is the start of a new era, a new chapter for TSM, and they'll be able to reclaim some of their old greatness. Whichever way you think this team, this organization is about to go, I really do think that this is one of the biggest seasons in TSM history, because they could so easily go either of these two directions. But today, we have some bad news for TSM that could potentially at least start sending them down not the best path headed into the 2022 season. So that's what we're going to be talking about this video today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. I know the last couple of days we've lost some subscribers. Some people, were helping us hit 10K and then they dropped off. Some people we found out were, I guess, Super Thorin fans, and we've kind of dropped some of those guys off. So we need you to subscribe. We need to replace those people that we've lost. I would appreciate it a ton. With that being said, let's get right into this. Obviously TSM has been preparing for their Asian boot camp. Whether I don't know exactly if it was supposed to be Korea or China or whatever was going on, but I know that Huni and Tactical have been in Korea for a week or two now. I think that's where they spent the holidays. And then obviously Kaido and Shenny are Chinese. They're over in China. The team was also supposed to be linking up, meeting up over in the East. We're going to have this boot camp. I believe it was supposed to start, I thought December 27th was the date, so a couple of days ago at this point. But we did recently get a very, very big update from Spica, from his Twitch stream, where obviously the title here is called, Spica stays in LA. LA, not in China, not in Korea. But let's hear what he had to say, just getting the word actually from Spica himself about this topic.
You guys should out Korea. We're gonna stay in. I'm gonna stay in LA because what's his name? Not gonna. What's his name? I'm not gonna get the visa in time, so. And there's a new COVID variant.
So obviously that sucks. I really think that this isn't the end of the world for TSM by any means, and I don't want to overreact to this news, and I don't want anyone, to overreact to this news or get the wrong idea about it or whatever. But to some extent, I do think this is a big deal. Just like some people are saying on the TSM subreddit and stuff right now, that Spica is supposed to be kind of the glue guy for this TSM team. They're bringing in a couple of different cultures, a couple of different languages, a couple of just new faces in and needing success. And yes, they can say that this is a developmental process. Yes, this is a long-term project. Yes, these players are here to stay, whatever. That stuff's easy to say. We know that the world of esports moves very, very fast. No one would have thought a year ago that this G2 team would be blowing up, going a million different directions. Reckless just signed a new 3-year contract. He's already gone. Who knows where this TSM team is going to be next year. And understanding that Spica just has 1 year left on his contract. And depending on how this year goes with TSM, he could end up potentially parting ways with the team or could get signed on for a long-term extension or whatever. But anyway, Spica is supposed to be the guy to bring, the Korean players, the Chinese players together and make this thing work. And not having him there with their, boot camp over in Korea is not great news. Now, again, by the time we get to Summer Split, by the time we get to Worlds or Worlds qualification or all this stuff, I really don't think it's going to matter too much. But this absolutely could have an impact on how TSM develops as a team early on in the season, headed into the lock-in tournament, even headed into early Spring Split, if not the entire Spring Split, not having Spica over with the whole team, spending time together, but also starting to gain synergy with Kaido, his new mid laner, getting to gain synergy with Shenny, his new support. That is like the two most important positions, for the jungler to be gaining synergy with. He already knows Huni. They have a great relationship. He already knows Tactical. They have a great relationship. But we're talking about Jung top, which is kind of important, but not as important as Jung mid or Jung support, I would argue. And then he has an awesome relationship with Tactical, but that is Jung 80 carry, probably the least important, kind of like synergy on the whole team. This does kind of suck. This is bad news for TSM. This is bad news for Spica. This is bad news for Kaido and Shenny as well, because these are guys who, are unproven talents, who are trying to come over to North America, find success, build a name for themselves, connect with fans, prove to everyone that they are worth it, that they were the right move, that they were the right choice for this TSM roster. And now, depending on whether or not TSM actually plays with their full roster in the lock-in tournament or not. I know there had been some, speculation of whether they'd be starting their academy roster or whatever, but there's a potential. Say the TSM roster gets back in time. Say they, start their lineup. There's some potential that the first time LCS and TSM fans see these 5 players playing together, that they're not going to be very well practiced. They're not going to be very well versed. And again, it's just a first impression. It doesn't matter too much, but it might leave a sour taste in some people's mouths. I mean, think back to, Fudge when he did really bad in the lock-in tournament last year. Yes, that was just a preseason tournament. Yes, it was a tournament that didn't mean much, but he got a lot of hate. People really were not liking Fudge. He got a ton of backlash, and he was able to fight through it. He was able to overcome it, but he's obviously a very, very strong-minded individual who is also a very, very good player who was just taking some time to level up. I would argue that not everyone could go through the pressure and stresses of what Fudge faced last year and the backlash that Fudge faced last year and still come out at the end of it, a lot stronger and a lot better off. But obviously, Spica talking about, visa issues, that sucks. Talking about the different COVID variants and what is that going to mean for the start of the LCS season. Hopefully nobody gets sick on TSM or any other teams, but also, are we going to be seeing online games in the LCS again? Are we going to see players and casters back in the studio? Are we going to get fans back in the studio at any point in 2022? Are we going to have in-person, esports events, all this stuff? I mean, it just absolutely sucks just that this stuff is not going away. We're all obviously very, very hopeful that 2022 is a great year in terms of a lot of this stuff, but obviously this is not a great sign for TSM. Just very, very similar to Cloud9, not being able to have Fudge go over with them to Korea. I think this is a little bit less bad for TSM than like the Fudge situation where he's role swapping, and I think he would very, very greatly benefit from getting to play Korean solo queue as a mid laner. But still, Spica not getting to play with 2 of his new players, 2 of his new faces, and help them acclimate to the other players on the roster and to the team and all this stuff, I don't think is great for the TSM developmental process. Like now, the next question becomes, have Kaido and Shenny been able to acquire their visas? Are they going to have trouble making it over to the United States? Are they going to be here in time? Are they going to be here for the lock-in tournament? How is that all going to work out? Again, at the end of the day, I think it's going to work out fine. By the time we get to the summer split come June, July, August, whatever, I don't really think we're going to remember, the fact that Spica wasn't able to make it to the Korean boot camp or whatever. But it might mean a lot slower start out of the gate for TSM and a lot worse results out of the gate for these players individually as well, which, is never a good thing. But did just want to get this update out to you guys that it appears, Spica will not be heading to the East. We haven't really heard yet if the team is still going to do the boot camp. I assume they are, but, it seems like it would be a lot more, kind of solo queue based and stuff. I don't know if they have a mid laner ready to go or if they're just going to sub somebody in or how valuable or not mid laner, but jungler in or how valuable or not valuable that'd be or whatever. But yeah. Spica staying in LA, not headed to Korea. There's still a lot of questions left unanswered in this whole situation, but again, definitely not good news for TSM early on in the season, late 2021, as they prepare for their 2022 campaign. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this situation. Do you think it matters at all? Do you think it's going to hurt TSM? Or do you think it's no big deal? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.